Hello everyone and welcome to Crypto Night, the crypto investor channel. I'm Boris, so let's dive in. I'm with Colton today. Hello Colton.
Hey Boris, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the Kryptonite channel, everyone. Let's dive right in. Today we'll be talking about Optimism. Can you let us know what Optimism is and give us a little synopsis of the project, Boris?
Sure. So Optimism, it's a layer 2. It's very similar to Polygon. It was first revealed back in June 2019, and then they actually launched in December 2021. And it's designed to closely mirror Ethereum. But and what they do is basically all the developers, they can deploy their existing contracts on the Ethereum blockchain and put it on Optimism, and it's very easy. It's very streamlined, so that's why it's getting very popular. And the cool thing is it allows for instant transactions and very scalable smart contracts. OP is the coin, the native token, and it runs the blockchain. So that OP token, it's really a governance tool. It is not required, to use Optimism or to pay for any gas fees. So it's a little bit different than some of the other projects. On Optimisms, users can pay for the gas fees using Optimism ETH.
Thank you for that information, Boris. Can we now talk about the history and performance of OP?
Sure. So, like I said, founded in 2019, by June 2022, they had raised over $178 million. So that's quite a bit of money. And according to the community forum, they stand on 4 pillars: simplicity, pragmatism, sustainability, and optimism. So they say that those are the 4 main pillars of what they're trying to do. So like any layer 2, they sit on the top of Ethereum and they just run everything faster and cheaper, while it's still being recorded on Ethereum as well. That's the whole point of being an L2. So Optimism is what's known as a roll-up. And it's just another way of describing that basically the blockchain is piggybacking on the parent blockchain for security, which in this case is Ethereum. So they take advantage also of the parent chain's consensus mechanisms. Now, some of the key things about Optimism and why it's getting so popular, for the fact that on one hand it is a lot cheaper than Ethereum, is also the fact that they have the ability to support all of the Ethereum dApps. So that's why we're seeing a lot of different dApps moving from, let's say, Ethereum to Optimism. And they're also able to run all the required computations off-chain. So it increases speed and it decreases the transaction costs. But all the transaction information are still recorded on the Ethereum blockchain. Really, they're considered to be one of the best attempts to bring the scalability to Ethereum. And but they're not sacrificing any of the securities. So the end result is that you have greatly improved transaction speed, and you have also extremely reduced costs on the Ethereum mainnet. Just as a quick graphic, layer 1 is Ethereum, and then layer 2 is the roll-up, and you see they still record, they do all the transaction on the layer 2, and then they go record them on the layer 1. Now, the cool thing is we have Arbitrum and Optimism, and Arbitrum was gaining momentum, but now it's Optimism that's really getting major momentum. But everybody has to remember something here, is that Polygon is there. Now we have Arbitrum, Optimism, etc. The problem is that we have to be careful because they're all fighting for the same thing. They're all a layer 2 solution. And at some point, it's like creating too many of the same thing. If you're all fighting for the exact same clients, how many clients are there out there that are going to need, yet another layer 2? Now, the great thing is we can see on Aave, which I really like the Aave platform, but lately they have grown by leaps and bounds. When we're talking about Optimism dApps by TVL, that's total value locked, they have grown by thousands of percents in a matter of a month. So the growth is just insane. That's really the one thing, about Optimism. It's that it's growing extremely, extremely fast. Now on the token allocations, they have about 20% for retroactive public good funding. They have 17% for the investors. They have 19% for the core contributors. They have 19% reserved for airdrops. Some of those airdrops already happen. 5% already done, and about 14% for future airdrops. And then they have 25% for governance funds, partner funds, seed funds, stuff like that. So overall, it's a decent distribution. Now, their all-time high was just a few days ago. Back in January 22nd, they reached 246. Today, they are sitting around 206. So they've come down from their high. And their all-time low was back in June at 40 cents. Now, the market cap right now totals is getting close to half a billion dollars. But here's the downside. 4.2 billion tokens, only 214 million in circulation, with a max supply of also 4.2 billion. So that means that right now, 4 billion tokens have not been released, which means that it might be pumping, and we've seen it go up lately. If we look at the numbers real quick on CoinGecko. So as you can see, it's changing prices a lot. The 24-hour range, 208 to 222. I mean, that's a big spread. But if we look at, let's say, the last 30 days ago, it was at 91 cents. And today it's at 213 right now. So it's more than double, a lot more than doubled in the past 30 days. So it's getting a lot of momentum, but the danger with the supply, having 4 billion that are not circulating, that means that potentially a lot of coins are going to be dumped, and there are different release schedules that they're going to do. And the problem is that's probably going to put a lot of headwind, into the price, and we could see some major drops with people getting concerned about different releases and release of coins and dumping the coin. And so that's something to be very careful, to not FOMO in and to say, oh my God, it's double, maybe it's going to double again and again and again.
Thank you, Boris. I appreciate that. Can we now talk about the latest news and future roadmap of OP?
Yeah, really, the thing that's really interesting to know is the number of transactions. They're getting very close, and you can see this graphic right here where in red you have Optimism, and it's definitely catching up to the purple line, which is Polygon. Arbitrum, as you see, it was really fighting with Optimism, but now it's barely growing. Where 1.7 billion transactions on Optimism, while at the same time, Polygon is doing 2.4 billion. So they are only about 700 million away from being the equal to Polygon. And that gap is reducing rapidly. So that's very important to note. Another thing is they have surpassed Arbitrum, in transaction volumes by a lot. And one thing to know So the future exchange GMX that built on Arbitrum, they saw a 30% drop in use since December 10th. Now, Synthetics, on the other hand, that is built on Optimism. They have done a perpetual exchange that was built on Optimism. They saw an increase in volume starting around December 20th. And also the protocol Quanta that built using Synthetics on Optimism, they also saw some major increases in volume. Aave has released version 3. It used different, it's built on different protocols, but Optimism is one of them. The same, they're seeing a lot of volume. So overall, things are moving very rapidly for Optimism. Also, it was reported that Arbitrum's activity has fallen nearly 50% since the November peak. So we see that Arbitrum has peaked a few months ago and now it's decreasing and declining, and Optimism is just exploding. So that tells us that also the investors, probably going to pay close attention to Optimism. And on the on-chain data, last week, the ecosystem logged in over 800,000 transactions in a single day. So that's like 2 times the network activity they were in November, and it's over 10 times the activity of what it was back in June. So overall, lots of activity. It's becoming very, very popular. But once again, let's be careful because of the fact that there's a lot of layer 2 competition out there and the fact that lots of tokens have yet to be released.
Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about staking. And for the people watching, we did our research. We tried our best to find something out there. But to be fully transparent with you guys, a lot of the stuff was fake. We were seeing, 30%, I mean, not 30%, but 60%, 120%, 150%. And just so you guys are aware, that's not possible. No one's going to offer that. Otherwise, the whole world would do it and we would be rich. Now, if you guys have any suggestions, recommendations, if we could, something we couldn't find, please put it in the comments. People would love to know, but we didn't want to give you guys any false information or make it seem like we were trying to scam you guys because, like I said, you're not going to get that type of APY anywhere. And if you were, the whole world will be rich. But from my side, Boris, that's all I had for the staking. I don't know if you want to add anything else. I know there's a little stuff on Binance that you want to talk about, but from my side, that's what I wanted to add here.
Yeah, I mean, OP tokens, they're really used for governance. There's no staking really with Optimism. Now, the thing you can find is some Optimism tokens that can be farmed in DeFi protocols and you can earn a yield. But you have to remember those can be very dangerous sometimes. So you're putting money at risk. Also, Binance, a centralized exchange, so it's never a great idea to put your coins there. They do offer 60%, but that's for liquid swap, farming. So realistically, personally, I would not do anything if I was to buy Optimism. I'm still debating. I haven't bought any yet, and I'm not sure that I will buy because I like some other projects. But I definitely want to keep an eye on it to see what's going on, and because they're really growing by leaps and bounds, and it's really amazing for a project that only has been in operation for about 8 months or 7 months.
Okay, you can hear me now. Hey, Boris, can we now talk about the price prediction? Where do you see Optimism in the future, and do you see this as a sustainable coin?
So we researched those prices and take this with a grain of salt because it's still a very recent project. So sometimes there is a lot of hype around new projects, and then for some reason a better one comes along and takes away the light from a project. So potentially, eventually, Optimism could reach those prices, but they could also go nowhere. So I'll be very careful with this prediction. But they are really around $5 by 2024, which is a little bit more than double what it is today. Around $10 by 2026, $20 roughly by 2028, and around $40 by 2030. So that's roughly an 18x from here. But once again, we have very little to go on. So be careful out there. It probably requires you to do more research to really see if you believe in optimism.
From my side, Boris, that's all I have for today. I appreciate all the information, but if you have anything else, please feel free to add it.
Thank you all. We look forward to see you on the next Kryptonite video. I hope this video helps. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. And if you like the video at the end, click on the thumbs up.